What is IRA? Individual retirement accounts, IRAs, are tax-advantaged savings accounts that people may utilize to save and invest for the long term. An IRA is a type of 401k plan. However, the 401k plan is an employee benefit that can only be accessed via an employer. Anyone with a source of income can create an IRA retirement savings account in order to save long-term and benefit from the tax advantages they provide. What is Roth IRA? A Roth IRA is an individual retirement account, IRA, that allows qualified withdrawals on a tax-free basis, provided certain conditions are satisfied. Why Roth IRA is better than a traditional IRA. Roth IRAs are like traditional IRAs, with the greatest qualification between the two being the means by which they are burdened. Both IRAs are supported with after-charge dollars. The commitments are not charge-deductible. Be that as it may, when you begin pulling out reserves, the cash is tax-exempt. Then again, customary IRA stores are by and large made with pre-tax dollars. You, for the most part, get a duty allowance on your commitment and pay personal expense when you pull out the cash from the record during retirement. Roth IRA investment options. Despite the fact that they have a comparable tax privilege configuration, Roth IRAs vary from the standard range in a few key ways. The most notable distinction is that Roth IRA obligations are made with after-charge money rather than pre-charge dollars. As a result, you will not receive a personal expenditure deduction in the year you made them. Regardless, you can take tax-free drawings in stepping down. In addition, you do not commit to transferring a Roth IRA at a certain age, as opposed to traditional IRAs. Your record continues to grow if you don't have to deal with the cash, with no least distribution, RMDs. In addition, you can donate it to your recipients when the moment arises. The Roth IRA's intriguing features suggest that a few hypotheses are more appropriate than others. The following is a breakdown of best-known resources and which kinds of resources are the best known. The best mutual funds for Roth IRAs. Shared assets provide convenience, advancement, inexpensive prices, most of the time, and expert administration. They are the sweethearts of retirement speculating financial records in common, and Roth IRAs in specific. Shared asset groups are anticipated to own 18% of Roth IRAs. When selecting common assets, the goal is to choose those that are successfully managed rather than those that just keep a list, also known as latently oversaw reserves. The rationale is that because these assets make successive trades, they are well suited to producing temporary financial gains. They are suitable for producing temporary gains in capital. The costs are larger than capital increases for long-distance journeys. It appropriately safeguards them in a Roth IRA when income develops tax-exempt. The top stocks for Roth IRAs. Singular stocks are another form of resource that is commonly held in Roth IRA accounts. Indeed, Roth IRA financial backers are more exposed to values than their traditional IRA counterparts. Obviously, the value universe is vast. However, the types of values and value-shared assets most suited for a Roth fall into two broad categories: stocks based on pay and stocks based on development. Income-oriented stocks. One is paying organized stocks, normal offerings, which provide big returns, or favorite offers, which constantly pay a wealthy sum. Usually, you charge any earnings you generate when you keep equities in a non-retirement account. Whether competent or unqualified, the ratio to pay may be as high as your regular rate of pay. Growth stocks. Development stocks are small and mid-cap companies that look to be poised for growth in the near future. Normally, their true development would result in an assessment nibble, but at reduced long-term capital gains rate, generally 15%. In any event, it makes little difference whether these equities are valued significantly extra when you change into paper money after stepping down. You will not owe any charges on funds stored in a Roth account. Furthermore, development stocks may be unstable, so putting them in a long-period retirement account that can endure the change of the financial market over time mitigates the risk. Financial backers who often trade values should also regard their Roth IRA as such. Any transitional advantages and capital increases from tax can be protected as such. The best bonds for Roth IRAs. Many financial backers consider bonds when they evaluate pay-based resources. For a long time, benefits compensating obligation tools have been the go-to for a pay-based course. Approximately 7% of Roth IRA adjustments are allocated to securities and security funds. Commercial stocks and further extraordinary productive investments are perfect for a Roth IRA. It's a similar guidance to the high profit values. Protect the pay, only more so. You cannot reinvest revenue payments into a security at the same way that you can reinvest profits into shares. A methodology to keep away from charges and standard records. The guarantee for Roth's evaluation is therefore much more important. The best ETFs for Roth IRAs. Shouldn't anything be stated about exchange-traded funds, ETFs, the fast-increasing competitor to pooled assets? Positively, these mutual resource bins that scale like single stocks can be profitable savings. They provide variation and high dividends at considerably lower cost proportions than pooled assets. The one stipulation is that, because most are meant to track a certain market record, ETFs will generally be latently dealt with. That is the means by which they minimize the expenses. As an outcome, they contribute inconsistently. So you don't take essential, the Roth's assessment protective shell, as much. On any event, if you had it in your record, it would not hurt you. Don't forget to share it. We discuss 0.25% to 0.5% are not the most appalling notion of your return rate on the world. Many ETFs are list reserves intended for coordination with the display of an S&P 500-like benchmark of safeguards. There are documents and file assets for every market, resource type, and risk process in essence. Similarly, the ETFs to be searched were those which placed money into higher developing or high league wage values. The best real estate for Roth IRAs. Individuals can invest in real estate in two ways: indirectly, through holding securities backed by real estate, and directly, through owning real estate. Indirect real estate investments. Real estate investments trusts, REITs, which are exchanged on an open market course of action of properties, are enormous compensation creators, yet they additionally give capital appreciation. REITs put resources into a wide scope of properties, including apartment complexes, cell towers, inns, foundation, clinical workplaces, office structures or office parks, retail shopping centers, and stockrooms. While most REITs center around a solitary kind of property, some remember a blend for their possessions. REITs are needed to pay around 90% of their income, normally gotten from rents, to their financial backers every year as benefits. Regularly, these additions are unquestionably liable to changes at the ordinary compensation rate. Direct real estate investments. You might put resources into land through REITs, or you can go directly to the source. For a Roth IRA, you can claim single-family homes, multiplex homes, lofts, condos, networks, and even land. To do as such, however, you'll need a self-coordinated IRA. To put resources into land, your Roth ought to be a self-coordinated IRA. You'll require an IRA guardian who invests a considerable measure of energy with these sorts of records. When it comes to land in an IRA, there are a few rules to follow. You can't, for example, guarantee specific derivations for municipal charges, contract interest, degradation, and other expenditures associated with the property. The IRA has the land, not you. The IRA reserves should pay for all expenses and repairs. You must also buy the property using records of assets. You cannot maintain your own property. No perspiration value. You have to pay someone else using IRA reserves. Why the property cannot benefit you and your family easily, such as the use of it as a house, workplace, or holiday home. Make sure that your job or working with a monetary advisor is done to guarantee that you are consistent. Otherwise, any assessment benefits associated with land ownership in the IRA can be lost. In a Roth IRA, don't invest in these things. Because Roth IRAs provide duty protection, there is no incentive to place charge-free assets in one. A good example is municipal securities or municipal security reserves. Currency market assets and further acceptable cash reciprocal assets are also inappropriate for a Roth, but for a dissimilar goal. What's the point of protecting a resource that isn't generating any interest in the first place? Furthermore, the liquidity they provide is squandered in a record you will not touch for a long time. Grants are more problematical situations. It is dependent on how shortly one and to date receiving Roth allocations. Setting up a cost-adjusted annuity within a tax-sheltered IRA all over doesn't work. More complex examples are annuity. It is based on how quickly you expect the Roth to circulate. Fixing an allowable cost inside a valuation-protected IRA doesn't augur well if you have much to go before you pay out. The benefit of a steady source of tax-exempt income, though, may legitimize this technique if, for instance, you've been shut down that office entrance in 5 years. Roth IRA asset allocation. In what manner one should appropriate money is determined by a number of factors, including your age. More youthful financial backers, on the whole, have a long venture vision. Individuals would often allot more superannuation resources for development and gratitude-settled individual equities or value reserves. Individuals who are resigned or near retirement, on the other hand, would typically have a greater allotment of their interest in bonds or pay organized resources, similar to REITs or high profit values. Search Pro's support. You have a few distinct options if you have the potential of not having the chance, premium, or ability to seek and pick IRA initiatives. One is to put all your IRA funds in a loan reservation on time. These shall continue the year you plan to quit, rebalancing organically on the way. You always aspire to quit, they are identified. For example, in 2040, the Vanguard Target Retirement 2040 funds would be a shop with 2040, for example, V4X. A robo-council is another possibility. This is an advanced stage in which the portfolio or ETFs are formed and processed using calculation-led models. Most of the time, you'll have to pay an administrative fee of approximately 0.25%. Nonetheless, a few agents such as Charles Schwab provide this assistance for free. Finally, you may hire a financial expert to manage your IRA on your behalf. Numerous financiers provide managed accounts. A yearly warning fee often includes the ongoing management of your money, such as speculation, determination, rebalancing, personalized help, and backing. Despite whatever way you take, sort out almost immediately which charges you'll need to pay, including cost expense, commission, consumptions, and record cost, and the amount they'll cost you every year. Whenever left unchecked, these charges can rapidly drain your income, leaving you with impressively less cash in retirement. In conclusion, generally speaking, the finest Roth IRA guesses are ones that produce a lot of accessible pay, whether it's earnings or premiums, have a significant or continuous turnover resulting in temporary capital additions, provide considerable growth, capital appreciation. These businesses can legitimately profit from the way the IRS charges taxes. That also means you'll have more money in your savings when you retire. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to share it.